from California for any statement he may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are events going on the floor yesterday and today. It's not the House at a high point of bipartisanship and order. We can argue about who's to blame, but when we come into this room, Mr. Chairman, we do see a high point of bipartisanship and order, and the credit clearly goes to you and the ranking member. The ranking member cannot be here, at least at the beginning of this hearing, and I have an improvised opening statement. I had nothing prepared walking in, so let's see whether any of these comments are helpful. First, in this issue, we face the issue of whether to take down the terrorist message or leave it up and monitor. And I want to say almost always take it down. First, the theory of fast and furious, let them take the guns and we'll monitor what happens with the guns, did not work then. And the idea of let them leave the dangerous site up and let's monitor what happens may not work in the future. But in addition, the terrorists know we're watching, and they've decided, and they've been pretty good at this, that putting their message up publicly is helpful, notwithstanding the fact that we are monitoring it. We ought to take it down. That means we need the coordination and cooperation of the industry. It was just about a year ago that the Chairman Royce, the Ranking Member Elliott Engel, Ted Poe, and I called upon Twitter to update its terms of service and take the terrorist message off Twitter. Twitter was a reluctant a bit at first, but in April 2015, Twitter announced changes to their terms of service, adding new language to its stance on abusive behavior and adding the words threatening or promoting terrorism, and they have substantially improved. I should note that since Twitter changed its policies, the terrorists have been forced onto other systems. Their tactic now involves direct messaging. I view that as a step forward. We closed off an efficient way to reach many people, and now they have to try to use a less efficient system, but we now have to stop these direct messages. We also have to focus on their encrypted chat apps, Telegram, SureSpot, Thema, which seem to have been created precisely for the market of people who want to evade law enforcement, and I wonder why such products exist. Next issue, and one that I've talked in this room an awful lot about, is the need to have people who know the language of the people we're trying to influence. And I don't just mean studied Arabic in college. I mean a cultural understanding and an understanding of Islamic theology, Islamic jurisprudence, and Islamic history. Again and again, the State Department has testified in this room that they don't have anybody who they've hired specifically because that person has the expertise in those areas, whereas they have dozens of experts in arcane European diplomatic law, as if the Austro-Hungarian Empire is the greatest concern of American foreign policy. I'm not saying that we should be issuing fatwas out of the State Department, but we ought to have somebody who has read 1,000 fatwas working in the State Department, and someone who knows the difference between what is accepted as a good hadith and what is not. And the reason for this is our target audience is people who think they might want to kill innocent women and children. These are people who start from a very bizarre mindset. They're thinking of becoming terrorists. They don't necessarily see the world the way we do, translated into Arabic or translated into another language. These are people for whom evil consists, the word evil may not include killing a Yazidi family or torturing people or throwing gay people off of tall buildings. They may live in a world where they think the Quran says that's what you're supposed to do. we have to have people that can go into that world, not just the cyber world, but the psychological world, and demonstrate to them that this is a perversion of Islam that has been focused by the terrorists. For staffing, we need to look at whether it should be uniform military or civilian or some new status that is in between. And finally, Mr. Chairman, what happens over there comes over here. What happens in Raqqa doesn't stay in Raqqa. An important part of turning back the cyber terrorist threat is to deal with ISIS on the ground, and that will require changing, and the administration is beginning to change the rules of engagement so that we can hit strategic targets, doing our best to avoid civilian casualties, but not with the view that a single civilian casualty, the possibility of one, stops any particular attack. The ranking member has a statement prepared for delivery, and I request that we make it part of the record.
Without objection.
Yield back.
Thank you very much, Mr. This morning, we're pleased to be joined by a distinguished panel. We have